Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jenny Isaacs. I'm the Executive Director of Heart to Heart. I have accidentally turned some of you also into Jenny Isaacs's by sending you a Zoom link that I had registered with. So if you're wondering if you've suddenly become me, kind of. You can feel free to rename yourself by clicking on your name and hitting rename. For those of you who I know who you are, I can also help you out with that if need be. We're just going to give folks another moment or two to join us here on Zoom, and then we'll get started. So apologies for accidentally renaming many of you my own name. You can feel free to rename yourself to your own name once you land in our Zoom room.
You click on the three dots, not on your name.
Yes, sorry. Click on the three dots and then click rename. And then you can rename yourself to your accurate name. And we've got people pouring into our waiting room, so we'll just give them a moment to join. And then we'll jump in. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. As promised in the emails, it is totally appropriate to be eating your lunch or a snack right now. I know some of you are joining in the middle of your workday. So I've got a bowl of popcorn here. Don't be shy. Feel free to eat while we chat. You can put yourself on mute so we don't hear your crunching. But other than that, enjoy. Okay. So I think we will jump in officially. So welcome again, everybody. My name is Jenny Isaacs. I'm the Executive Director of Heart to Heart, and I'm very excited to be meeting with all of you today to have a chance to share a little bit about what's been happening with Heart to Heart over the last several months and what our plans are for the future. And I'm joined by the rest of the Heart to Heart team today, Mohammed and Jacob Mazer, who are excited to also say hello and chat. Mohammed will be leading the way on our program update today. And we also have, I believe, one of our Heart to Heart co-chairs, Mark Diamond, also known as I Like Your Name Better, who's giving us away right now, as well as several other Heart to Heart committee members, former committee members, and of course, donors and supporters and Heart to Heart enthusiasts and partners. And that's really what we're all about here today, is a chance for all of us who care a lot about Heart to Heart and who are working to support it in so many different ways. I see we have hosts here as well. And for us to sort of get all on the same page about what's been going on and what the plans are for the year. So thank you all for being here. I'm gonna turn it over to Mohammed to take it away, introduce himself, and tell us what's happening with Heart to Heart these days.
And awesome. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, so my name is Mohammed again, and I've been with Heart to Heart for I've known Heart to Heart since 2018 and 2019, and then I'm officially with them to July last year. And I am so glad to be with this amazing team. So I'm going to share my screen with you to present our work and what we have done during the summer and what's our plan for the year ahead. So yeah, thank you again for coming, everybody. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about our summer 2022 and our alumni programming, and to update you on what we have been doing. So I will talk a little bit about the pre-camp, then during camp, a little bit about Toronto, and our amazing supporter and our host experience, then the community reception, why it is important for our participants and our Toronto supporter, and then about what the year is going to unfold for us and for our participants on the ground. Okay, so let's start. Today, this is two pictures from our participants on the ground pre-camp before they flew to Canada. The meetings are happening with our partners, Givat Habiba, on the ground. So this is the first get to know each other meeting and like prepare them to travel to Canada. So this is their first interaction with each other before they come to Canada and they start their enhanced educational programming. What happened? Okay, so camp programming, we talk a lot about education, about the place where they came from, about social justice and the conflict. We do a lot of team building, and of course, fun aspect is important for our participants to be part of this program. We give them lots of fun. We do out trips outside of camp. We take them outside of camp. We go to Ottawa for many reasons. I will touch on that a little bit more once we show you a picture about Ottawa. And then we teach them how to canoe for the first time. So many of them, they never been in a canoe. They never heard the word of canoe. So this is their actual first experience doing that. Myself as well, I never heard of it until I came to Canada. Then a little bit of a hiking trip as well. So about the educational part for them during camp, we have our site. We go to Camp Chomria in Perth, Ontario. We have our little corner at camp. We call it Magical Forest, where actual magic happens, where our participants find the space where they interact with each other, where actual true space for them to feel safe, and they speak up their mind. During camp, luckily this year we had Eid al-Adha for Muslims, so we celebrated this holiday together. We talk a lot about the history of the conflict. We talk a lot about the team building and critical thinking and how they can work together on moving forward after their Canadian experience. This year, we managed to invite a friend of mine, actually. She's an Indigenous educator. She came to camp and she gave the blanket exercise. If many of you heard of the blanket exercise, it's teaching about the Indigenous history of Canada and a lot about it since the first settlers came up until today. Dawn Harvard and her daughter came and led this blanket exercise for heart-to-heart participants as well as some of the rest of camp participants. It was a great and meaningful experience for our participants. And right after this exercise, we took them to Ottawa. In Ottawa, we went to the Parliament. We went to the National Historic Museum of Canada. At the Parliament, our participants, they learned a lot about the two official languages, French and English, land acknowledgement, how the political system of Canada works. So it was a great and meaningful experience for them, especially when in the tour, we talked a little bit about Indigenous of Canada. So they had an idea before they came to this trip, so to Ottawa. So it was great for them. And on the left picture, this is the Magical Forest I talked about. It's a tent in a corner of camp, and Jenny was leading the session here. And then out trips, we did a camping trip, we did hiking trip, and a canoeing as well. So those are pictures from the camping trip. This year, we really divided the group into different groups and different responsibilities. Some of them did the tent, some other did the cooking, and other group did the making sure the cleaning is happening and making sure we leave the space as we found it. I want to talk a little bit about the importance of our alumni community. For the first time, Heart to Heart managed to bring back alumni to be counselors for this year. So as you see on the left side picture, we have 3 alumni from Heart to Heart in the past years. We have Tomer, who was a participant in 2014. We have Shani, she was the counselor 2015, and Khalil 2016. It was a great experience for our participants, and they got really excited to be part of the future of Heart to Heart, as they are still asking, like, when are we coming back? How can we be counselors? And a great tool to keep them engaged as well, like to understand they have a future with the program and they have future to opportunities with us. And this is Khalil in the right picture with a heart of Heart to Heart. Our outside trips on the left here, you can see that during camp, they went on a canoe trip. And after the canoe trip, we went on a hike with one of our great supporter and long-standing, and also a committee member, Danny and Sarah. We went to their cottage, and they have been great. And a cottage experience as well for our participants is still a new experience. It's like, it's not known as in Canada, like going to a cottage, but for outsiders, like, wow, like a cottage is a different experience. So all of this like enrich their knowledge of Canada, and also part of the team building that we are creating to among the groups for relationship building as well. So back to, then we have Toronto programming and community reception. In Toronto, we spent 4 days in Toronto. One of those days we got to Niagara Falls. Of course, we have to. Niagara Falls is like a great tourist place and unforgettable experience. Also in Toronto, we took them to, I don't know if you heard of Evergreen Brickworks. The reason we took them there for them to understand how a place can be transformed from something to another. Evergreen was a brick factory. Now it's an ecological site, and that helped them understand, like part of the education, actually how a place can be transformed and how they can take those ideas with them and try and transform a community, whether in terms of thinking or a physical space. This is a picture in the bus. We took them into public transportation. It's a good experience as well, like for them to see the subway. That was a great part of that. On the right picture, that was collage making as well, helping them how they can actually transform something. So it's all about enhancing education as well. On the left picture is a picture from the community reception. The community reception, by the way, is really a good and great opportunity for, it's a mutual win-win for our supporter in Toronto to meet our participants, and for our participants to actually see that they have supporter in Toronto and in Canada. And they were surprised of the amount of people they came to see them. They did not realize that actually there are people who care about them and cares about the cause. So I do encourage to come more and more, because it's really meaningful experience to hear from the participants and hear how their experience at camp and in general, and also for the participants to see that there are people who care about them and care about this cause. So this is like also more pictures of the Toronto trip. This is in the subway, and this is on the island. We took them to the island, and they were like, because of the ferry experience as well, like all of this is like all a new experience for them to also enhance the group and enhance the relationship between them. The host experience, like I want to shout out to our host. It's the best supporter, a great supporter for Heart to Heart, and being there for the participants in Toronto. I just want to share with you, because after each hosting experience, we ask our hosts to share with us how they feel, or how they felt during the host experience, and if they feel valued or not. We are lucky to hear that majority and all of them, they felt valued in our program, and they felt supported. And this is really important for us and for them. And I want to share a little bit of the feedback and some comments from our hosts. For example, the first one, like to explain their answers when the campers asked if the host can be their second mom, and also like those feelings are real between our participants and our hosts. And one of the ongoing relationship between the host, like after the participants leaves, the relationship doesn't end there. It's actually ongoing and it continues. And for example, like the kids were so appreciative of everything. And one of the comments, and David, which is one of our hosts and long hosts who got the opportunity to go and visit our participants on the ground. And we do arrange and help coordinate those trips and those visits. This is the goodbye day between the host and our participants. This is the last day before they left. This is a picture on the airport, and the one on the right is from our community reception photo. So right now I want to talk a little bit about our year-round programming for the new cohort, for 2022 cohort, which is just left, and our alumni community, parents and their families, and the Canadian community. So in August, after they left and they went back home, they had a nice celebration at a restaurant called Jdudna in Baqa Al Gharbiya. Just for a perspective, Baqa Al Gharbiya is one of the communities in Wadi Ara. It's a Palestinian community, where our work focused is in Wadi Ara area, Wadi Ara region. Lucky enough also, like, because of our work and our ongoing relationship with this restaurant, we're happy that the owner of this restaurant to send his daughter to the program to be a part of the participants, which is great for the relationship building and trust building with us and the local community over there. And they see the impact on their kids. And then we had a Zoom meeting happened in September with our participants to lay out the year-round programming, because their journey doesn't end when they go home. It actually begins when they go home. So they have a year programming. And then in the alumni side, the rest of the alumni, we are doing planning a potluck and in December. And in October, we had another Hangout Zoom to announce the community tour. So in November, just a week ago, our participants, they had a tour in the community. They visited Al Fahim, which is another Palestinian community, to understand about the history, about the place, about I like also to continue them to understand how cool initiative they met, cool people on the ground. So 1 second. And in December, we're going to start with them about community initiative. So this is an important meeting. At the same time, their parents will be meeting as well. It's important to engage the parents into our work, because the parents is like a main pillar for our work as well. And if they see our work is meaningful to their children, I think we will have a sustainable programming, sustainable work and impact as well. So in December, we're having 2 separate meetings, one for the parents to help the parents with the necessary tools to deal with their children while they are joining such a program in a little bit of a hostile environment. At the end of December, we are having a potluck and a Hanukkah celebration. It's important to mention here that we do celebrate significant holidays for our participants. For example, Iftar is coming up. As I mentioned, during camp, they celebrated Eid al-Adha. And this meeting is not just for our 2022 cohort. It will be also for the rest of the alumni and their parents. But specifically for our 2022, we will give them a workshop about activism and how they can be active and how they can speak up their mind and how they can be like a group for change. This year also in December, we're going to promote our heart-to-heart programming in schools. Beginning of next year, January, we're going to have our annual alumni conference. And in that moment, we will be celebrating the 2022 cohort joining the broader alumni community. And then in February, we're going to talk about social media and narratives. It's important for our cohort to understand how narratives are developed, and especially living in this world of lots of lots of like fake news, I would say. So it's important for them to understand how they navigate through that. And then we'll do leadership training. And during this month, we will have Ramadan. Ramadan is like, we will have a great iftar evening. That is the tradition we do with Heart to Heart. As you see, we have a community tour, a starting build community initiative, allyship and solidarity. And that in June, our new 2023 cohort will be ready to come to Canada. This is a picture from a post-camp meeting at Jdoudna restaurant. As you see, it's celebrating the end of camp. This is one of the hosts' visit on the ground. One of the hosts, we coordinated to go and meet the participants' parents. So like 6 or 7 participants, they were in this meeting. This is our Zoom hangout, our Zoom meeting, where we actually lay out the year-round programming. This is the hangout Zoom meeting. Those pictures from the community tour in Al-Fahm. As you see, this tour, actually, they also visited an olive oil factory. They had the chance to see how actual olive oil, like how oil is made. This is our amazing Shira participants, is giving you some dessert. And I want to share with you a quick video. Let me see if, okay. Can you hear it? No, okay. I think I want to redo this. Let's hear again. Apologies for the quality of the video, but this is a picture to match it. Thank you so much for listening, and we are happy to answer any question you have, Jenny as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohammed.
My full time.
So in case you couldn't tell, at the end there, that was our participants who knew we were going to be meeting with all of you, and they wanted to say thank you. So they were yelling thank you, and just to say it's so meaningful to them to also know that there's this community in Canada cheering them on, supporting them, and taking the time out of their day to get together to get caught up on everything going on with Heart to Heart.